I have mohair in my mouth.
Come, let's watch the rain as it's falling down. Sunlight on your skin when I'm not around. Shit don't feel the same when you're out of town.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the September Mix podcast. This is already episode 4. Time passes by so quickly. So yeah, I'm Claire. I am a knitter and quite creative person based in the French-speaking part of Switzerland. And I go to university. I study psychology. I think that's it for me. So today I'm very enthusiastic to be back here. Every time it is such a lot of organization and it takes a lot of time, but every time I'm really glad to be in front of the camera showing you everything I'm working on. So yeah, this is a regular podcast, meaning that I'm just going to show you the projects I've finished, what I'm working on, my whips, and to end all of this, I'm going to tell you about a few acquisitions, because it was my birthday not too long ago. I turned 23, and also about like the projects that I would like to start in the nearby future. So yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you once again for just commenting and liking the video and watching it. It means a lot to me. Like every time I'm surprised, sorry, how sweet you guys can be. So yeah, let's get started. I have my notes just here on my computer, so I'm going to start to not look at them too much, but yeah, here goes. So the first finished project that I want to show you is this cardigan, which is kind of difficult to show you. Honestly, it's absolutely huge. This is the balloon cardigan by PetiteKnit. So I'm going to try it once again to show you. I think what's most striking, if I can say so, about this pattern is the sleeves, the balloon sleeves. So this, like, the cuff is really tiny compared to the whole sleeve. I'll insert clips of my projects so you can see them better. So yeah, as I was saying, balloon cardigan by PetiteKnit. I really enjoyed knitting the pattern. It was quite clear, as all PetiteKnit patterns are. I feel like she doesn't go in too much detail, so maybe if you're just starting with knitting, I would not recommend some of her patterns, but she does have a few beginner friendly patterns. So yeah, this is actually the first cardigan I knit. I think I've started it like a while ago. I did talk about it in my first episode, the beginning podcast, and yeah, it's finally finished. I weaved in all the ends. I did it. There was a surprisingly big amount of ends. I don't know what I did here. I think it's just a pattern, but maybe I changed skeins or something like that. It is already so warm in here. Like, it's not that warm outside, it's beginning to be like proper autumn or fall, but like inside I close the window so you get like proper sound. Yeah, I'm just like, whew, very very hot already. So yeah, this is like raglan cardigan. Are you actually seeing anything? Oh, here it is. A raglan cardigan. It's so cute. I love the color. I don't know if you can tell, but it's like super, it's not mohair. So for those of you who are getting tired of mohair, which I can definitely understand. Oh, it's focusing. It's not mohair. It's very very warm though. I knit this in Holzgarn, super soft in the color 51 Willow, and in Drops Brushed Alpaca Silk. I actually have the little tag for this, so going to see anything? Here it is. This is the color 21 Sage. Is it? Yeah, it is. So yeah, I substituted the pattern calls for fingering, I think, and a mohair, and I substituted it for the brushed alpaca silk, which is considerably thicker than mohair. I would say it is as warm, but yeah, the stitches are quite it's fuzzy, but in a very like, I haven't washed it, I haven't blocked it yet, so I don't know how it will turn out, but it's quite like thick and dense. This is the word I was looking for, dense. But I love it. I think the color turned out great. I think it's quite true to reality, how you can see it on the screen, like grayish sage color, which I love. It turned out a little bit bigger than what I wanted it to turn out, the way I wanted it to turn out, because as I was saying, my gauge was quite way off with the brushed alpaca silk, so I decided to knit a size S, I think, which is not the size I wear normally, but it's not too big, it's very baggy, the sleeves are perfect, the body is like a little bit too long, I think, but that's not too much of a problem. It's going to be a perfect winter cardigan. So, as you may have noticed, I haven't put in the buttons yet. Are you actually seeing anything? I don't know. This is a tricky one to show you. So yeah, as I was saying, I think in my traveling podcast, so that was my second podcast. When I was traveling in the summer, I went to every yarn shop and fabric shop imaginable to find buttons for this cardigan, but I did not find any that I really loved with the color and like the shape of the cardigan. So I was telling my boyfriend about that because he did go to a few of those shops with me, and he actually for my birthday made me some buttons. Yeah, it was so sweet. I'm gonna show you if I can get them all. Yep. Here it is. So he does work with wood sometimes when he's back home. He's from Spain. I hope it's not too much information about him. I'll ask him before I post this video if like he minds me telling a little bit about him. So yeah, when he's back home in Spain, he does have a woodworking or a general atelier, we would say in French, like somewhere in a house where you like create stuff. And he created these buttons. Ooh, so two big ones in like the hottest wood there is or something like that. In French it's called buis. No idea how it's called in English. I'll Google it and just write it somewhere. And this is in like olive tree. Olive, maybe that's how it's pronounced. Can you? Yeah, so there are like 5 little buttons and 2 big ones, and currently he's spending the weekend with his family again, and he texted me that he made me a few more of these big buttons. So that is very cute. It was very sweet. We celebrated my birthday with my family, and my grandma was here, and she was just like very touched, I think, that he made me these buttons. I don't know, I think it's just adorable. So I'm gonna put them in the back. Oh wait, actually I want to show you. So I was thinking of putting these ones in the cardigan. Is it going to focus? I think I'm just not gonna bother trying to focus too much because I'm going to show you everything in like separate little videos. So yeah, I was thinking of putting these ones, and I think it's kind of, I think it could work. The big ones are too big for the button bands. They're not gonna work. I'm gonna use them for another project. But these ones, I think they're maybe a tiny bit too small, but honestly it should work. So I'll see, and maybe in the next podcast I will show you what it looks like with the buttons installed. Whew. It is warm in here. Okay, oh, my hair definitely isn't helping. So yeah, that's it for the first project. I'm gonna put it on the floor because it's way too warm on my lap. Second project is what I like to call, oh, by the way, I actually took the time to write like all of the quantities of yarns that I've used for my finished projects and how much they cost, because I think it's always interesting when you kind of knit on a budget to know how much finished objects cost like a podcaster, and it's rarely some information that is shared on podcast, unfortunately. So I have this amount of yarn left, so a little bit of horse garn and a very little bit, like, is it like half a skein maybe, of brushed alpaca silk. I did use 9 skeins of that, so this is the 9th skein, so that was really 8.5 skeins of brushed alpaca silk. And I only had 4 skeins of hold garn, and surprisingly it worked. This is my 4th skein, so you definitely need, well, I think I could have gotten away knitting like a smaller size, but I mean I knit the size S, so I don't think it would have worked. Yeah, of horse garn, but this is very little amount of skeins, very small amount of skeins. So I wrote down that the hold garn, the 4 skeins of willow, cost me $12.24. I don't know if I got it on sale. Honestly, it's very possible I got it on sale. I do buy a lot of my yarn on sale. And the brushed alpaca silk, the 9 skeins, cost me $18.72. So this cardigan, without the buttons because they were free and without the pattern, well, they were free for me, it cost $31. So yeah, I think that's quite a good price for a big, warm cardigan like that. I'm very pleased with the choices. So, second finished project. I keep mixing up product and project. Bear with me. This is something, for a little bit of backstory, this is something that I knit while on the train during my Interrail trip when I was in Europe this summer. So I started it in Oslo and then I went all the way down to Hamburg and then always by train to my home in Switzerland. So I bought 5 skeins of Rauma, I think it's pronounced that way, Rauma Inca, which is 100% alpaca, super fine alpaca to be exact. And these skins, I bought them in Fredrikstad in Norway, not too far from Oslo, and they were on sale for $2 each. So this shawl, I haven't even shown you the shawl, it cost me $10. Which is great, and it was an amazing project to just knit on the train. It was small enough to be portable, and easy enough to just like knit at it. I purposely chose a pattern that is just like requires almost no brain power, so I could get that done and knit on the train, which was a nice experience interrailing. So here is the shawl. It's quite big. You can see the pointy ends. So this is it's very drapey, as you can see. Very, very drapey. It has this little, I already have a shawl like that I'm going to show you. I actually grabbed it so I can show you like what it looks like with different materials. There's like this little, are you seeing anything? Thing in the middle of the shawl. That's where you do your increases, and you have also increases on the sides like that, which allows you to do some kind of, well, it looks like lace. It is lace technically. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with this shawl. It's at the end it became quite boring because it's just got a stitch, but I mean, yeah, I really I wasn't feeling sure about the color. Like at the same time I liked it and I was like, wow, am I actually going to wear it? But I think with like a dark gray jacket, which I do have, and this, it could look quite nice. And I think it's a very autumnal color, so I'm quite pleased with it. And the whole like memory of knitting it while on a trip on my own for the most part is very, well, once I bought the yarn I was on my own, full stop. So yeah, it's like a good memory to have. So I actually only have this amount of yarn left, and I bought, as I was telling you, 5 skeins for $10 in PetiteKnit. So this I'm going to use for another project that I've on the go right now. I thought I was going to show you the other shawl I knit with the same pattern. This is the pattern Shâle Matilda, which is a French pattern, but honestly it's not a paid for pattern, and it's quite like a basic shawl to knit, like very easy. You just begin with a guarded tap, which there are some tutorials on YouTube for, and then you just like do increases. I'm going to show you on my other shawl, which is the same, just not the same material. You do, so your pointy end with the guarded tap here, it's just like you knit like that. So you will increase and just add stitches, one here before, you can see way better in that yarn, like that. One before, one here, which is the increase, one in the middle, one here, and then one again here. So you just like knit it like that, and you like, is that understandable? I hope so. So yeah, this shawl I knit a while ago. I wore it like almost non-stop last winter. It's very warm. This is Flora by Drops and Kit Silk by Drops as well. I wear it next to my neck without any problem. And I actually have the skeins that I used, so you can just like have an idea of the color. The color for the Flora is number 5 ash gray, and the color for the Kit Silk is number 22. So yeah, this is 4 bows of Flora and 4 bows of Kit Silk, and it's just very, yeah, the halo is great. I love it. I love to wear it. It's super comfortable. It's super warm without being suffocating. I can just like wrap it around my neck, or I also wear it like in my bag when I'm just like a little bit chilly. For example, in the university, they heat the buildings less because, well, of the energy crisis. So it's been very handy to have that around to just like wrap myself in and be very cozy when I'm in classes. So yeah, this is like bigger. It's just like 4 skeins of mohair and fingering. It's warmer than the 100% alpaca and a little bit less drapey because Flora has some wool content. So yeah, here it is for my Interrail shawl. Then next finished project is a jumper that I actually knit for my grandma, and once again I told you about it in my first podcast. So yeah, it has been a bit stagnant because I was away all of this summer really, so it didn't get finished super quick, but I love it. So to show you, ooh, here it is. So this is sweater number 14 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. This was the first time that I knit a v-neck sweater, and I love it. I love it. I realized that I actually wear a lot of v-neck sweater in my commercial but sweaters, and now I really want to knit myself another version of it. So for a little bit of backstory, I wanted to knit a jumper for my grandma's 80th birthday in the spring, so I'm very late with her present, but she does understand. She used to knit a little bit. So I had this idea, and I basically thought, well, I'm just going to ask her what she would want in a sweater, because I was afraid of knitting her something that would take me hours and hours and hours and her just not liking it. And I know she's very knit worthy. I would not be surprised if she actually wore it. That's always the problem when you knit for other people. You as a knitter, as a maker, you know the amount of work that goes into a present, and most people, as they don't know, they don't value it as much, and that's exactly the term knit worthy. You've probably heard that term. Someone who's knit worthy is someone who will actually appreciate your knitting and take care of it. So obviously I would not expect someone to that has no idea about knitting, that hasn't asked for anything, to take care of like a mohair jumper that I would knit them, that would have cost me a lot of money. So yeah, but I thought my grandma, she does know how to take care of wool, she does know the amount of effort, and yeah, I really hope she will like this sweater. Yeah, I was saying to my friends, like, if she doesn't like it, like, I'm taking it for myself and knitting her something else, because honestly I love it. I was actually wearing it in my last episode, so yeah, just like to give you a sneak peek of it, and I'm going to give it to her probably tomorrow. Well, actually I need to block it first. Yeah, I need to block it first, so next week, once it's dried. So yeah, I absolutely love it. I did the rib. It's supposed to be like longer in the back, a little bit shorter in the front, which is perfect. It's like knit flat because there's a little slit on the side of the jumper. Ooh, showing knitting is always an arm workout. So yeah, here it is. Actually, changed the pattern, not the pattern, but a little bit the material thing. Oh my god, I cannot speak anymore. I changed how I knit the color. So I thought I did knit her a swatch for this because she told me that she wanted a green, but not an olive green, not too much of a dark green. So I thought these colors together would, this is one strand of Flora and one strand of Kit Silk. I actually have these here, but I'm going to tell you about it later so I don't get like all over the place. I knit her swatch to make sure that she did in fact like the color, she loved it, and she tried it like on her neck and she said that it was soft. But I know that sometimes when you get a little bit hot and a little bit sweaty, mohair on the neck can start to be a little bit itchy, even though it's a v-neck sweater, so it has less contact with like the direct area of the neck. So what I thought is that I was going to knit the inside of the color. So the outside of the color is regular Flora and Kit Silk, but the inside is regular Flora, which is very soft, and one strand of brushed alpaca silk by Drops, the same that I showed you on the cardigan because I had too much of it, and it's very, very soft, I must say. I think it will do the trick. I was very fortunate that it was basically the same color, so there's no like big like difference. I don't think if you didn't know you would notice, but sorry about that. The camera just stopped randomly recording. I have no idea why, but I think we're fine now. So I was as I was saying, I hope that it makes a difference in the color to make it a little bit less itchy. I don't think it should be itchy at all, really. Yeah, that's it. Very simple. I was fortunate that I had the exact same color and Drops. So yeah, for this sweater I used 6 bowls of Drops Flora, as I was saying, and I actually only used 5 bowls, or even 4.5 bowls. It's surprisingly crazy how like little yarn you actually need sometimes for projects. So this is my 6th bowl that I ordered. I haven't touched it it's intact. By the way, this is 65% wool, 35% alpaca. I would say that is my favorite fingering weight yarn by Drops. I love it. I've used it quite a lot. This is the color 15, just like green. It's not too dark, it's not too light, so I think that's a very beautiful color. And I have this amount left of yarn from my 6 skeins. And I also, oh, what I forgot to tell you about is that I did modify the pattern a bit. It calls for 1 strand of fingering weight and 2 strands of mohair. But 2 strands of mohair, first of all, it was going to be a very, very warm jumper. And my grandma is not someone who's going to go like in the snow, hike a mountain, you know, so she does not need very, very warm garments. So I opted to just knit it with 1 strand of Flora and 1 strand of mohair. This is what is left of my mohair. And yeah, so the gauge was not the same. I knit the body with a 5mm needle, the sleeves until like the rib cuff are in 5.5mm, just because I made a mistake and I packed my 5.5mm needles I brought this project to the US, by the way. This is the project if you've seen some videos that I was knitting in New York and in Boston. So yeah, I needed the needles to be accepted at the airport and to fit into my carry-on backpack. So I just made a mistake and I grabbed my wooden needles, which were a 5.5 instead of a 5, which is not a big deal. I knit all the sleeves while I was there, and I waited to get home to be able to knit the ribbing. So the ribbing on the neck I think is 3.5mm, and the rest of the ribbing is in 4mm. So yeah, that's it. I used 5 skeins. This is my 5th skein of kit silk. This is the color 34. This is also like a sage green. Beautiful color. As you can see, I've been kind of obsessed with green. There's a lot of green going on in this podcast. Only in my finished projects though. Alright, so now I think we're done with the finished projects. I'm going to start with my whips. So just a useful little piece of information that I forgot. The price of my grandma's sweater. She's never going to watch the podcast, I think, so I'm safe to say it out loud. So the 6 skeins of Flora and the 5 skeins of kit silk by Drops cost me €27.60. So I know that I got them all on sale. That's still not a lot of money for a beautiful jumper like that. That's quite crazy actually. Like, I was doing the math and I was just thinking, wow, I must have missed something, but no, cost that much, and even less because I didn't use the six whole skeins. So I'm going to be able to do another project with what I have left. So yeah, amazing. I mean, I'm not saying that €27, which is about like these days, it must be around like $30 or $27 in that range. I'm not saying that it's not a lot of money. For some it may be a lot of money, but for a jumper of that quality with 100% natural fibers and it's quite big, that's not too much money. Oh, and I did make a size M. Did I make a size M or L? I'll write it somewhere. I completely forgot, I'm sorry. So as I was saying, my work's in progress. So the first one, which is actually a project that I talked about, oh, you saw the camera, that I talked about in my previous knitting podcast, so number 3, which was about my fall knitting plans. This is it. It's almost finished. yeah, here it is. So this is the Terrazzo neck by PetiteKnit. A lot of PetiteKnit going on. Yeah, so I knit this in Alaska by Drops. I don't have any balls left, but I have kept the tag to show you. So this is Alaska. This is a color 02, which is like a natural white, well, cream, I guess, white. It's a little bit on the yellow side, and some Drops kit silk in the color 02, I think. I don't have the tags for the kit silk, but I'm gonna write it down. So if you are the person who asked me in the comments how much yarn I had for this project, and I replied that I had 5 balls of Alaska and 2 balls of kit silk. Actually, what turned out to happen is that I did not have nearly enough Alaska. I thought Alaska plus kit silk was going to give me a huge gauge, and it actually did. I knit the size XXS to S, and it's still very big. It's, I think, way bigger than what it's supposed to be, and on purpose I also knitted longer than what it's called, well, not called for, but what the pattern recommends. I kind of like the idea of, even though I'm wearing maybe a jacket that has like a low cut, that it still looks like I'm wearing a sweater, I guess. So yeah, I love this project. I did have to use some Drops Napple yarn, and I think also the color 02 or 1, I don't know, just for this part. So you do an Italian bind up, so you have 4 rows of like preparation with slip stitches for the Italian bind off at the end, and then you do it with the needle. I don't particularly like doing it, but I must say it's beautiful. It gives a beautiful result. So here you can see it a little bit. Yeah, I was complaining about it on my Instagram. By the way, I did become way more active on Instagram. I don't know what happened. So yeah, I keep on posting stories, which is weird because I've never been too much of a... Alright, sorry for the interruption. So I was talking about my Terrazzo neck. So I was lucky to have some Napple in the ultimately kind of the same color, so I could substitute it. The Napple has a little bit less of a yellow tint, so you're not even going to be able to tell, honestly. I asked my boyfriend for neutral advice, and I was like, can you see a difference in color, because I knit just like 2 rows of the Italian bind off, and the whole color, the twisted rib, which is a pain in to make, but it looks great. I think it looks very nice. So I asked him about the color, and he was like, technically you can see a color, but even with the lightning, the light changing, and like just shades, natural shades, nobody's going to be able to notice. So I'm quite happy about it, but just know that I would recommend having 6 skeins of Alaska by Drop, 7 skeins of Alaska by Drops, just to be safe, to be able to knit it. Or maybe you could get away with 6 if you don't knit it as long as I've knitted it. So yeah, that's that for the Terrazzo neck that is almost finished. It's quite a long project, mainly probably also because I knit it longer than what it's supposed to be knit. But yeah, I really liked it. I had actually never done like purl through the back loops stitches. I won't say that I will miss it in my next patterns, but that was an interesting thing to learn, and the construction is great. I'll show you better, I think, in the next episode when I will have finished it. So yeah, here it is. My second work in progress is actually a project that I had lying around for months. I hadn't touched it for so long because I lost where I was in a chart, which actually took me like 30 seconds to figure out where I was. I think I was just like kind of burnt out at this project, so I put it on pause for a while, but now I started it again and I'm quite far along already. So this is, oh my god, everything's going to fall on the floor. This is the, ooh, I lost some stitches, but it's not that big of a deal. Oh my god, it's big. Ooh. Here it is. The Holly Sweater by Hanne Rimmen. I don't know how it's pronounced, I'm sorry. I can show you the design. It's a paid for pattern, which is beautiful. This is the photo on the front. So yeah, I decided to knit this sweater. It's knit, as you can see, bottom up. You knit the sleeves separately and then you just like join everything in the round and do some color work. So as apparently I want to make my life more complicated, I decided to knit it in Plötulopi, which is unspun yarn. I don't want to like break everything, so I actually have some skeins of that. Well, some plates. It's called plates in the back. Here it is. This is so nice. I don't know what it is about Plötulopi. This is by the brand Estex and it's Icelandic wool. If you've never heard of it, I highly recommend it. It's one of the kind of like qualities where it's just unspun. I showed you in the previous podcast, you know, the other color is something I want to knit with it. So these are the two colors that I used for the jumper. This is 1026 light ash heather in the grey and 1421 the like dark green, like kind of khaki color, I would say, maybe. I don't know, it's beautiful. It's very, as the name suggests, it's very heathered. It has like bits of bright green and a brown and just like light green, and everything inside is just beautiful. I love it. This is the color 1421 spruce. So yeah, I'm very happy with how the sweater is coming along. I hope the sizing is right. It's what I don't like about bottom up patterns. You can't really try it on at all or as easily. I did try it on just like with you know, these like Scooby-Doo threads. I did try it on, but it's kind of difficult to see when you don't have the color and everything, but I love it. I also knitted double with each color, so turns out doing that was a bit of a learning curve because it's very fragile. This is unspun, so it's very fragile, so knitting it with two strands will make it harder to break, obviously. But doing color work, especially, I had not a lot of experience in color work at the time, so this is still hard. It's just like you have 4 threads that you're knitting with at once, and you have to like always catch the flows in the back. But yeah, here it is in 2 strands. So you can actually like grab 1 strand for the middle of the plait and 1 strand for just like this side here. So yeah, I think that is it for this sweater. I'm very enthusiastic about it, to like find projects that you've kind of abandoned and to give them the chance to actually like come to life in a way. That's very metaphorical, but yeah, I don't know, it just made me very happy to find it again. And it's quite a long project. I'm not as quick knitting color work varial as I am just like regular stockinette, obviously, but yeah, it's been nice. This is not a project that I'm able to like take out of my home, which is also probably one of the reasons why it hasn't moved a lot since the last few months. But I just got a big chunk of it done the other day, just like sitting around at home, because you need to have your 2 plates and your 4 threads at once. So yeah, I think the original pattern calls for Lopi, which is by the same brand of Icelandic wool, but it is a spun yarn, so way more solid and it's not gonna break as easily. but also way less fun. So yeah, I can't wait to finish it. Maybe I'll have it finished by the next episode. I'm not sure about that because I also have a lot of like ideas all at once. So yeah, there is that. Third work in progress, but second project that I actually talked about in the last full knitting plans video is these little, like, super adorable, how cute is that, honestly, pumpkins. So this is the Spice and Clove Knit and Crochet Pumpkins by Hanne Maier. And I think it was a Knit Picks pattern, like on their website. It's free. And I knit this one. It's a work in progress because like right now it might look finished, but I haven't added the tiny little stem, which is like such a ridiculous little thing to do. It probably would have taken me like 10 minutes, but I still haven't done it. So yeah, next time you'll show the whole finished thing. I was thinking of using this color, so the leftover of my shawl for the stem. I think the two colors look absolutely lovely, and I really want to have them finished by Halloween. Not that I'm doing anything special for Halloween, but just like to get me in the mood, kind of. So this little pumpkin is knit in drops tweed. This is the skein. It takes a ridiculous amount of yarn. It's super tiny. I don't have like especially big hands, but yeah, I did struggle a little bit with the. I can show you. It's a little bit, it's not very regular. If you see the pattern photo, it's very like sleek. The little bumps, they're just very, and mine are kind of bouclés, we would say in French. They have a lot of little, well, irregularities. You have to stuff them, and I think I might have not stuffed them enough. And also, I did discover that the drops tweed is quite fragile as a yarn. I think this is alpaca, polyamide, and actually can't remember, sorry. Probably a bit of wool, not sure. No, this is not polyamide, this is viscose, and I think the viscose is the little tiny little speckles, like the tweed things. It's lovely, I love it. But yeah, I knit that one with this, and I absolutely want to make other little pumpkins with the same color. Maybe gift them around. I mean, if I had gotten from someone a little tiny pumpkin like that, I would have been thrilled. I think, I don't know, I'm very enthusiastic for something that it's quite easy. It's very easy, very quick. You can knit or crochet them, so whatever you prefer. But I don't know, I was just like so happy. I put a few stories on my Instagram when I was making them, so yeah, super cute. This one is actually a very like stash busting project. You can probably see there's not a lot of contrast, which was voluntary. So this is 2 colors of drops Napple, and I did like a little kind of little fade, like color work fade, just knitting at first like 3 stitches of the brown in Napple and 1 stitch of the kind of purple. These are leftovers. This is a leftover from my Christmas jumper. Scofiel, I think, is the name of the pattern. I did show it in my first episode. If you're interested, it's the one in the thumbnail, so very like big Christmassy jumper. This is a leftover of that, and this is a leftover of a hot water bottle cover. I'm gonna make it. That I knit my grandma last Christmas, I think. And I did not know what to do with like a tiny little leftover of this, so I did that, and I quite like it. It's very cute. It looks like, yeah, I don't know, the 2 together, the color range and stuff, I think it's so cute. Even though they're not perfect, they're also same as this one, quite irregular and stuff, but it's no problem. I think you could also maybe just like put them, how is it called in English? Put them up like somewhere. Hang them. Here it is. Hang them somewhere. I also need to add the little stem here. But yeah, very enthusiastic about little projects, and they're such a good palette cleanser because they're super quick. Like I swear, maybe in half an hour, maybe an hour, I'm being a bit optimistic, in like an hour I had done a pumpkin, just not the stem, and then I went away for a bit and then I kind of forgot about them, so that's too bad. It must be done in like today or tomorrow. Yeah, I think it's very cute, very easy, and it's just nice to have a quick project before you go back to your sweaters that take tens of hours to knit. So yeah, now for the last part of the video, I wanted to show you and tell you about my acquisitions and what I want to knit these days. What I'm actually going to really start knitting, I think, these days. Okay, so first for my next project, little bit of backstory again. I had seen on PetiteKnit Instagram account, she posts so much, by the way, like I swear there are maybe like 10 stories a day. It's crazy, like I don't know how she manages it. I mean, she probably has help, but I'm under the impression that stories are purely her own, so like her own work alone. So yeah, crazy. I had seen that she knit a Sophie shawl. I had seen the Sophie scarf going around a lot on Instagram and in podcasts, but I was just never really a fan of it. It's not my style, it's not something I would wear. And although I love the idea of like a tiny little scarf that takes very little yarn, I was just not interested in knitting it until she made a shawl. And then I was like, wow, I need that. Her photos of the shawl are great, and what is funny is that it was actually the first time that I was actually waiting for a pattern to come out. She is so quick, just like creating patterns. I saw that she was knitting it at the time, and a few days later the pattern was out. Crazy, like in English, everything. So yeah, that was great. So I really wanted to knit one of these shawls for myself, but my first priority at the moment is really starting, well, not priority, but I'm starting to think about it in the back of my mind, starting Christmas presents. So I thought, wait a second, I do have some drops Lima, which I think is the right gauge that I need to use. Oh, and this is yarn that I bought for my mom. It's one of her favorite colors. It's kind of a dark, it looks a little bit more vibrant on camera, I don't know if it's just my impression. A dark orange with beautiful kind of golden yellow. Yeah, it just catches light really well, I think. So at first I wanted to knit her a sweater, but I don't think I ordered enough, and it's a lot of work to knit sweaters. And my mum, I think she would be knit worthy, she would take care of it, but she's not very big into like all yarn things, and she doesn't really get the appeal, I think. So I wanted to be sure she has something that she could actually wear, and she does wear a lot of scarves. So I thought this I cannot speak anymore. Sophie shawl in this color. I have a lot of balls of that. I cannot remember how many exactly, but yeah, I thought that was a great idea. And when I'm done with that, I can maybe start after a while one for myself. Don't know which material I'm going to use yet. I'll see. So yeah, I actually bought the pattern literally a few hours after it was released. That was a strange experience, and some people are almost done with their Sophie shawls, or even done by now. So yeah, just like a very fast process. I was impressed. The next thing I really want to knit is the Ingrid sweater by PetiteKnit. Yeah, I think this is going to be my winter plan. It has a lot of cables. I've never knit cable. I've heard that it's not that difficult, and I think I'm probably stressing about it way too much. It's not that big of a deal, but yeah, it looks, it looks quite complicated. It's rated, I think, a 5 out of 5 in difficulty by PetiteKnit. So yeah, but that's definitely going to be my winter project, and I do have the yarn for it. I'm gonna go on a sort of yarn no buy. I might tell you about it in the next video. So yeah, I'm gonna show you the yarn for it later because it goes into my acquisitions. So yeah, very enthusiastic about it. Beautiful pattern, I cannot wait to knit it. Then the last thing I want to knit these days, aside from the weekend v-neck slipover, which I love, but I already talked about it in the previous video of my fall knitting plans, but I haven't gotten started right now, so yeah, also going to do that, but I'm not gonna like expand too much on that. Yeah, I want to start knitting Christmas presents. So I think I'm quite early, but you know, hair is crazy. You know that well, knitting takes a lot of time, and I'm not one to only enjoy knitting stuff for other people with a deadline. I want to have like my own projects that I can just like work at peacefully on the side too. So I think starting a bit early is a good idea. So I want to knit a few things for a few people. I'll keep you updated on that. I'm telling you to kind of keep myself accountable so I don't like think, oh, I'm just gonna knit like things for myself and stuff. For like the Sophie shawl, my mum doesn't know about the podcast. It's not that it's a secret or that I'm ashamed of it at all. Really, it's just like, I don't know, it's kind of been like my little thing with my boyfriend knows, and it's just, I don't know, it's kind of fun like that. Kind of want to keep it that way for a while. So yeah, the good thing with that is that she's not gonna know what her Christmas present is, and ruin the surprise. So yeah, as I was saying in the beginning of the episode, it was my birthday a few days ago on the 30th of September, and my mom got me like a lot of yarn, all yarn related presents. She got me a Gutschein if you're German, a bon if you're French, a gift card, here it is if you're English, well, you speak English, to my local yarn shop. I actually have a yarn shop that is exactly 6 minutes away from my place by foot. So yeah, I don't know if I was happy to find out about that. It's a lot of temptation. But yeah, it's a very cute little shop near where I live. Beautiful, and they do sell some drops, so I was quite happy about it. She got me this gift card, and also, wait, I'm just going to show you because it's quite impressive really. Ooh, this well, this is from when I went to the little shop. So this is Drops Flora, the one I was showing you earlier. It's one of my favorite color, this ash gray. This I got as part of the the present, but I chose it myself. This is all mohair. This is all kit silk mohair to be precise. This is in 2 shades. I had said that each year my family kind of asked me what I would like for my birthday, and I give out a few ideas, and then they just like choose whatever they want, and which is kind of, I know it might sound a bit weird for some people, but I think my mom is just like kind of stressed about gifts, and she knows that if she asks me, it's still going to be a surprise because I don't know exactly what I'm getting, but yeah, she ordered these online. This is 9 skeins, there's even more down. Ooh. Dropping them everywhere. 9 skeins of ash gray mohair. So this is the color 22 that I want to knit the Ingrid sweater with. Yeah. So the Ingrid sweater calls for, I think, DK weight and a strand of mohair. This Flora isn't DK weight, but I'm just going to hold it double. So double knitting. Just going to work. Normally I do have a lot of that I actually bought when I was in Norway, in Fredrikstad, in a different shop than the Rauma. So yeah, these together, I think the Ingrid sweater, it's a lot of cables, so I might hate myself for this decision in the future. because it's quite a dark color, so I don't know how easy it's going to be able to like actually see the stitches, but it should be fine. And this, how beautiful is this color? Just love it. I saw a similar color, well, not a similar color, actually it was exactly this color. I don't know what my hair is doing. When I was in the same shop as how is it called? Garnhuset, I think, in Fredrikstad, Norway. And I took a photo. I did not have enough space in my bag to buy it, but yeah. So my mom got it for me. This is just like, I love it. It's so beautiful. So like, the halo is so beautiful. I love it. Very enthusiastic about it, as you can tell. Sorry. Actually, like my mom was on holidays for the actual day of my birthday, so my boyfriend was at my place, and she told me that I could open the gift and then like the gift card she got me when we went to a restaurant to celebrate my birthday, just two of us, and I opened the box and my boyfriend just like snapped a picture of me like looking so happy with the mohair. I'm not going to show you the picture, but it's quite funny. It's quite funny. So this, I want to knit another version of my sweater number 14 by my favorite knitwear. The v-neck version as the same basically as the one I'm going to give to my grandma. I'm gonna give myself a bit of time so that I'm not like absolutely fed up with this pattern, but definitely going to knit it in that color and probably with some yarn that I bought in Hamburg. In the Wollfabrik, yeah, that I showed you in my second episode, the one where I talked about my travels. If you're curious, it's at the end of the video. There's two like similar colors to that, and I'm going to choose one of them. I don't know which one yet, but that should be perfect. I don't know what's happening. The camera keeps just like shutting down on itself. It's not a problem of battery. Sorry about that. So as I was saying, I went to the store where my mum had bought me the gift card, and I went the first time on my own, and there was just like, it was overwhelming. Every time I go to a yarn shop, I just get super overwhelmed, and I end up staying for like so long just trying to decide, and I could not make a decision because I was hesitating between a needle set that I wanted and just like a lot of yarn, and just maybe the idea of buying yarn that I would not buy on my own because it's a bit too expensive for my budget. So just having a gift card would have given me the opportunity to just like try things that are just a little bit too luxurious while not actually like spending money. Does that make any sense? Like that's kind of the purpose of a gift, I feel like, but I think you get it. So yeah, I actually came back with my boyfriend, who was so sweet. He really wanted to come with me to help me decide. So yeah, I ended up buying 3 skeins of the Flora that I showed you earlier, and I ended up deciding on buying this little needle set that I was coveting for a long time. So this is a Chiagu, the Twist Shorties short red lace interchangeables. This is so great. This is so great. I'm gonna film like a close-up of it, but this is like tiny needles. I actually have already this set, which is, well, the blue version. This is like needles, I think it's 3, I can actually check inside. So this is like that inside. I'm actually using at the moment quite a few of them. This is from 3.5 to 5 millimeters, the blue one, and the red one is from 2 millimeters to 3.25 millimeters. So yeah, like that. You always have like the longer needles and the shorter needles, but it's the same like circumference, diameter, I think. Yeah. And the little cables. This technology is so great. They're like tiny cables, like so thin. I've heard that they can break. I mostly bought that set to knit sleeves, which is I actually have this one from the blue kit. So the little cable is blue. The little needles are in 4mm. That's what I used to finish my cardigan. And I use that to just like knit the sleeves on like smaller circumference, and then like I can just like switch the cable to knit the cuff if it's smaller, there's less stitches. You can put a few of these cables together and knit hats. You can knit mittens on like super tiny circumferences. You can knit socks, and this is just like basically the exact same thing, just smaller size needles. So I was thinking of like trying to knit socks with the tiny 2.25mm needles and all of that, and just I want to try to knit maybe a little bit more fingering weight yarn on its own, which is going to take me so much time, but this is going to come in quite handy for the sleeves. So yeah, here it is. These kits are quite expensive. I think at least the blue one is worth it. Tell me if you would be interested in like maybe a review of them now that I have the both of them. I know that before I bought the blue one, I was looking for reviews online and I couldn't really find something that satisfied my curiosity, and just like, yeah, I decided, well, I'm gonna buy it anyway and see, but that's typically something that you maybe want to have gifted to you. I did pay a bit of it because they're expensive. There was not enough money on the gift card. I don't know what's happening with that word, but yeah, they're great. I'm quite happy. I have yet to try the needles, the tiny needles, but can't wait to try them. So yeah, I think that is it for today. I hope you had fun watching this episode once again. Thank you so much for being here, and yeah, you can subscribe if you want to, if you're interested. You can follow me on Instagram now that I'm more active. This is just, the handle is just September Mix, just as this YouTube channel. And you can write a comment if you're feeling inspired. I love reading them and replying to them and all of that stuff. So yeah, I think that's it. I ran out of things to say. Have a good day and see you next time, and hopefully not as much time as has been going on. Once again, English. Okay, bye, have a good day.